Here's my buddy, Blue Jays reporter Scott Mitchell from Target Field. Scott, you've written a column on TSN.ca about the 4 keys for a Jays wildcard series win. We start with the offense. What did the bats need to do after an inconsistent season?
Yeah, you said it. If you've watched this team all season long, the inconsistency with the offense has really been the storyline from start to finish. When you look at kind of how they've dropped off over the last couple of years in terms of production, that's really been the storyline, especially when they've had the best pitching staff in the American League at times, best overall ERA in the rotation at times. Just the pitching has been the strength. The offense, kind of the names and the resumes of these guys hasn't matched the production, and that's the first and foremost question as you come into the series. Which offense is going to show up? The one that is capable at times of looking like the one we've seen in 2022 and 2021, or the one that really struggles against top-end pitching, strikes out far too much, and struggles with swing decisions. So that's going to have everything to do with the result this week here in Minnesota. And when you look at who needs to step up, it's the stars. You know, the old adage of your best players need to come up big in important games, that's going to ring true here for the Blue Jays. And the slate is clean now. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hasn't had the type of year that he's wanted. George Springer has not had the type of year that he's wanted statistically either. But right now it's the second season, and you have an opportunity to kind of erase all that frustration and inconsistency, and we'll see if they can do that in Game 1.
You've outlined 1 key for the starters and 1 key for the two-headed monster at the back of the bullpen. That would be Jordan Romano and Jordan Hicks. My question for you, Scott, what are you looking for from the pitching staff in this series?
Yeah, really, first and foremost, when Kevin Gausman takes that mound in Game 1, you have to limit the traffic on the base paths, and there's a simple reason for that. When you look at how the Minnesota Twins are built, they led the American League in home runs this year, 233 long balls and just 188 for the Blue Jays. So these offenses are built very, very differently. So for Kevin Gausman, and in Game 2 as well, you need to limit the traffic. No walks. The defense has to be tight, and that's one difference you see with this ball club coming in here compared to the one that lost to Seattle last year. They've improved immensely defensively, statistically, one of the best outfield defenses in the league. And Bo Bichette as well at shortstop quietly has made some real improvements this year. And you go back to 2020, he had a couple errors in that wild card game in Tampa. So you really have to look at the improvements on defense, and for the pitching staff, they just need to limit the traffic, because those home runs, if they do come for the Twins, solo shots are much different than multi-run shots that are obviously going to put you in a big hole. And then Romano and Hicks at the end of the bullpen, these guys have been lights out for the second half of the season, but Romano did struggle in a couple outings, and then we saw him in the 8th inning in his last appearance, Hicks in the 9th. So really all things are on the table for John Schneider, and he said maybe expect the unexpected in certain scenarios, because all these are must-win games from this point forward.
Toronto will be looking for their first postseason win since 2016. Scott Mitchell in Minnesota. You're the best.